Welcome once again to Underbrawl, a series of competitive Smash Bros. Guides for characters that are deemed either low tier or subpar by the general public. Today's episode will be covering the King of Koopas himself, Bowser. If you're a first time watcher of this series, you should know that not only will you be receiving a full Bowser competitive guide in its fullest, but at the very end of the video, Bowser will also receive a final assessment to see whether or not he truly is as bad as the public claims him to be. If you're interested in a certain topic regarding Bowser, you can choose one of the annotations on the screen in front of you and jump to a certain point in the video. However, if you'd like to watch from the beginning, just sit tight and wait for this transition to end, as the video will begin momentarily. With the highest amount of overall weight, one of the highest damage outputs, and an above average run speed, Bowser is a terrifying powerhouse that can take a ton of punishment and deal it back just as well. As Bowser, you're a character designed to bait your opponent into terrible situations that result in some heavy damage against them, or, better yet, smashing their shield to pieces and sending them to the blast zone with your ruthless forward smash. Bowser can also be played as an effective grappler with a good amount of throw combos and his deadly side B that can lead to some rather fun results. Bowser's directional normals, including his standard jab, are effective at what Bowser does best, dealing damage and bullying your opponent's shield. While some of them can be a bit slow in attack speed, with the fastest active frame being the first hit of a standard jab at 7 frames, these moves, for the most part, tend to be easily cancelable in the shield. Out of all his directional normals, Bowser's down tilt is easily his best attack for a majority of situations. This attack will strike twice, dealing a good chunk of damage if they both hit, do a ton of shield damage if they land on a blocking opponent, and has a very short cooldown, allowing for quick shields that can possibly prevent a punish from your opponent. The other useful directional normal Bowser has is his up tilt, which is one of the safest anti-airs in the game. This attack covers Bowser's entire frame and hurtbox, along with the claws having a long-lasting hitbox that makes up for the fact that the cooldown isn't the quickest on this move. Forward tilt also has its moments since it's a very quick attack and a very solid poke with a long-lasting hitbox, but the ending lag on this attack and lack of shield pressure makes it Bowser's least useful directional normal in a majority of situations. Use this attack more during edge guarding or as a reverse tilt during a dash to get the most out of this attack. Bowser's smash attacks are where he gets to show off his true power, especially when 2 out of the 3 smash attacks benefit from a bit of armor / priority against opposing attacks. The 2 smash attacks you're going to be using more often are your forward and up smash, while down smash is said to be more situational. Up smash is a powerful upward thrust that is regarded as a counter-bait attack, especially against characters like Shulk and Greninja who have counters with faulty hitboxes. This is due to the fact that his shell hitbox has a total of 13 invincibility frames, which can give him a nice safety bubble if hit from above. That, and the attack has an extra hitbox for when Bowser hits the ground after the initial hop. Forward smash is Bowser's most ruthless and powerful attack, as this dropkick packs the second highest amount of KO power for a smash attack in the entire game, second only to Deity's forward smash. This attack is slow, and easy to see coming, so using it during moments where your opponent is caught off guard or make a bad play is the most effective strategy to landing easy KOs. This attack can KO a majority of the cast uncharged, around 65 to 70% from mid-screen if it connects. And if you manage a shield break, there's no better way to finish them off than with a fully charged forward smash. Down smash, as previously stated, is very situational in use. In fact, it's so situational that other attacks do its job better than it does. The only real use for this attack is to cover behind you if your opponent rolls, but up B does a much better job at protecting your back as you can move around while using it. Hell, even up smash can cover both sides due to its extra hitbox at the end. With all that stated, down smash is a move that's very easily avoidable for the most part. Bowser's aerial game, despite being such a burly character, is actually quite fair in both usability and damage output. Some moves are definitely better than others though, and you may find yourself almost spamming said attacks compared to some of his other moves. However, although he has the slowest air dodge in the game and some of the slowest aerial mobility, do not take Bowser in the air for granted, for he still has the power to make up for it. Neutral air is an awkward attack that can rack up damage effectively if you manage to land it, but be warned, this attack is very unsafe and punishable on shield. Use this attack during footsies to try and control the area around you. Make sure you always do it out of a full first jump, as doing so out of short hop will result in unneeded landing lag. Forward air is Bowser's prime pressure tool out of his aerials, as it's an attack that can come out and end fast enough to be lagless even out of short hop. The only problem with this attack is that it doesn't have a lot of shield pressure, which can make it unsafe while jumping in. If you can, try using a side tilt or down tilt after landing to apply extra pressure, as anything that keeps your opponent's shield up longer and longer is always good for Bowser. Back air is an incredibly powerful KO attack that's almost on par with that of Ganondorf's back air. However, unlike Ganondorf's, Bowser's back air has some horrendous landing lag, almost being on par with Charizard's back air in that regard. Thankfully, this terrible landing lag can be avoided by not using fast fall, which is especially useful to know since this attack can be used out of short hop. If used off screen, this attack will KO opponents at very early percents, and is one of Bowser's best ways to close out a stock early. Try pairing this with a forward tilt as you land to protect yourself from those looking to punish you. Up air is an attack that you're going to get very familiar with as you play Bowser, and that's because this is one of Bowser's prime attacks to use out of his up throw. This attack hits hard and racks up damage quickly, it being capable of KOing most characters around 90 to 100% damage. Just be wary of possible counters. Down air is easily Bowser's most avoidable aerial, and in more ways than one. This attack is a fast fall aerial, and like a majority of set attacks in this game, it's not very effective at what it does. This attack has a ton of landing lag, and since it's a fast fall aerial, that landing lag is always guaranteed, which is never a good thing. On top of that, this attack doesn't do that much shield damage and is incredibly unsafe on shield or whiff. Using this often, or possibly at all, will more than likely lead to lackluster results, especially if your opponent has the ability to exploit it with the use of a counter. This attack can meteor smash enemies, however, if you land the hitbox right on the recovering opponent, but aside from that, it's best to pay this attack no mind. Bowser's special set is surprisingly versatile, all of these attacks playing to his strengths, and some even to his glaring weaknesses. None of these attacks are truly bad, but if you want to use them to their fullest effect, keep their usage moderate and use situational awareness to determine when it's the best time to throw out a special attack. Standard B is Bowser's most effective way of controlling the space in front of him, as the range this attack can cover is quite wide. The best use for this attack is cornering your opponent with it and forcing them to shield for as long as possible, as Bowser is one of the best characters in the game when it comes to taking advantage of a weakened shield. This attack can also be used as an edge guard to pepper on some extra damage or possibly even ruin your opponent's recovery. Bowser's side special is one of his most notorious moves. Also known as the Flying Press, this powerful command grab does solid damage, can KO at reasonable percents, and is infamously known for its free control during the slam, which can be done off the ledge, plummeting both Bowser and his opponent to their doom. This is known as the Bowser side, and very few characters can effectively recover from this attack if they manage to survive. Just remember, the one with the lower percent is the one who's in control of the slam direction, so time accordingly. Up special, Whirling Fortress, is a fairly useful move that's strong in the horizontal recovery, as it can snap to the ledge rather effectively. When used on the ground, however, this move can be an effective way of escaping corners and covering a possible roll, as unlike down smash, this move gives you the ability to move around while spinning. This move is most useful when used out of shield, as it allows for Bowser to get an almost guaranteed punish if you can space the move correctly. Down special, the Bowser Bomb, is the bane of any and all shield in Smash 4. This downward drop upon direct contact deals enough damage to completely shatter shields, being almost as, if not just as effective as Martha Lucina's Shield Breaker. Bowser is a character that benefits heavily from a broken shield, as nothing takes advantage of a broken shield quite like a fully charged dropkick to the face. While this move is indeed quite strong, it's incredibly predictable and easy to see coming. This move is also a useful tool if you're forced to recover high, as this move can snap to the ledge if used from the right position. Just be careful not to hold down while you use the move, because if you do, Bowser will avoid the ledge and plummet to his death. Using this move from on high almost never works, and works much better from a height where your opponent can effectively roll out of the way. Using this out of a single jump or short hop is usually the best choice, and use it very sparingly, even then. Keep your opponent guessing, and when they guess wrong, give them the Bowser Bomb. Bowser, despite being a heavyweight with a ton of power, is a character that surprisingly benefits greatly from his throws, namely his up throw. Bowser's up throw, during the Cloud Patch, was heavily buffed to the point where he can effectively follow up with aerials, tilt, and smash attacks to percent as high as 100% on most characters. The effectiveness of these throws was toned down a bit during the Bayonetta/Corrin patch to make it so the knockback of the initial throw was greater, but even now, it's still effective enough to kill most characters at reasonable percents. The main attacks you're going to be using off of your up throw is up air, neutral air, up tilt, and up smash. At lower percents, up smash is going to be the most useful follow-up attack, especially if your opponent has a counter. The invincibility frames during Bowser's up smash can negate some counters, as previously stated, allowing for Bowser to make it out clean even if the attack doesn't connect. Up tilt is also an option due to its reasonable attack speed and wide frame coverage, but the invincibility frames on up smash as well as the damage output makes it less useful overall. Around 20% damage, Bowser can land a full neutral air out of short hop, and at higher percents, especially near the peak in which your throw to follow-up combo starts to fade, up air is your best choice for following up. This attack deals hefty damage and is a potent KO move at percents around and above 90%. Just keep in mind that some characters, specifically lighter characters, are capable of DIing out of this throw combo at percents below what other characters could break out of. Due to the power that his attacks exude, Bowser's a great choice for trying to force your opponents to make reckless or panic-induced moves. And one of the most common mistakes made by panicking players is instinctual shielding. As the bully you are, take advantage of your high shield damaging attacks at every given opportunity and force your opponent to block as much as possible. One well-placed Bowser Bomb is usually strong enough to shatter shields upon initial impact, as long as the attack isn't perfect shielded. Fire Breath's consistent chip damage wears down shields quickly as well, and the dual hits from his down tilt deal a good chunk of shield damage on their own. These are the three main attacks to use when looking for a shield break, but the most optimal way to actually go about looking for a shield break is to not actually focus on doing so. Let the opening come to you as opposed to going for the opening yourself, as throwing out reckless moves is going to let your opponent in on what you're trying to do. And if the opponent's gone into your mind and knows what you're doing, you're most likely going to lose. Bowser's got a surprisingly large amount of various ways to mix up his opponent. Here are some examples of what you can practice for use in a real match. Back air's incredible launch power makes it an effective tool for maintaining space between you and your opponent. And as previously mentioned, not fast falling the attack will negate the hefty amount of landing leg the attack has. With this, you can land forward tilts and turnaround down tilts off of the saved landing, which is effective against hasty opponents looking for a possible punish off of the whiffed aerial. This can also be done with your forward air, especially when using a retreating forward air. To use a retreating aerial, hold the analog stick back after using your attack to move your momentum backwards. This sounds a little tricky to do at first, but the most effective way to learn how to use this ability is remapping your second stick to tilts instead of smash attacks. With this, you can hold your second stick in one direction while holding your analog stick in the other and lose absolutely no momentum while doing so. Your aerial momentum after using a forward air is pretty useful, especially since you can easily move out of a danger zone while covering your front. However, while tilts are also effective out of a retreating forward air, it is possible to land a forward smash if the opponent is trying to stay in close. This attack startup makes this attack a bit risky, but if it lands and your opponent is at a reasonable percent, there's a good chance that the attack will KO. Standard B is a useful spacing tool that's very good on the jump in and is also effective at the ledge. But if you learn how to B reverse the flame breath, it becomes even more powerful. In order to be reversed, you need to quickly tap the direction adjacent to you as soon as you push your special button. This will change your direction in the air while keeping your aerial momentum. While this is a pretty useful move to use the punish tool, do not use it often, as more often than not, your opponent will be able to expect it and either retreat or use a counterattack. And this goes double for characters like Ness, who can use the fire breath to heal himself, or any character with a counter. Up B is already a strong move for punishing even the slightest mistake, but there's a way to make it work even better. This optimal strategy is using a jump cancelled up B out of shield, as this is not only an attack that comes out the literal frame you stop shielding, but it's also free damage and a free punish. In order to jump cancel your up B, hold up as you hold the shield button, then press the jump button and press B. This is usually easier to do if you turn off tap jump and are used to jumping with the right hand buttons. Another useful mix-up to use with your up B is a short hop air dodge into a legless whirling fortress. In order to do this, you need to jump and air dodge in almost the exact same time. Your aerial momentum can be shifted around quite easily, but the moment you land, use your up B. The best way to guarantee you land this is by holding up as you short hop air dodge and mash B during the initial dodge. The Flying Slam's initial grab animation has a bit of end lag on it if you end up whipping it while on the ground, but if you use the grab while jumping in, then the attack is actually legless. This allows for Bowser to act out of his attack directly after landing if the grab doesn't connect, which can follow up into many of Bowser's other attacks. While this lag negation can be useful while normal jumping in, it's using this attack when jumping onto the ledge that makes it shine. You can jump onto the stage using your side B and land completely leglessly while you do so. That way, if the opponent dodges the initial grab, you can follow up with a wide array of attacks, such as a grounded Bowser bomb or a down tilt. You can also do this with a forward air as well. Bowser, in terms of overall height and width, is the largest character in the Smash Bros. Series. That big armored shell and body isn't just for show though, as not only can Bowser put off the second highest amount of damage in Smash 4, but unlike number 1 holder Ganondorf, Bowser's hulking figure allows for him to have a natural super armor attribute, known by the in-game files as Tough Guy. With this, Bowser is capable of shrugging off smaller attacks and dealing an attack of his own right back. Bowser is the only character in the game that has this ability, as fans of Project M should be no stranger to an armored Bowser, as that is what a lot of people have been comparing Tough Guy to. This super armor is most noticeable when being attacked by an opponent's rapid jab, specifically from characters like Sheik, Greninja, and especially Little Mac. Keep in mind that Bowser is still going to take damage from the armored hits, it only negates the hit stun. Not to mention that once Bowser gets hit past a certain percent range, the Tough Guy armor will wear off. Some small attacks will break the armor quicker than others, but Lil Mac's rapid jab takes until 120% to break Bowser's armor. As a result, Bowser is actually a good counter pick for Lil Mac. Bowser is a character that has defined the heavyweight archetype ever since its introduction in Melee. but has always seemed to struggle in the past games due to his big figure and slow movement. However, here in Smash 4, Bowser has truly become a character that is not only a strong contender, but is actually worth using over a good amount of the other heavyweights in the game. Bowser's main strengths come from his high damage output, his above average run speed that allows him to make follow-ups effectively, and his ability to pressure shields, all while adding on his immense weight that allows him to take damage and make mistakes without too much of a repercussion. Also, thanks to his side B and variety throw options, Bowser is probably the closest thing to a traditional grappler in Smash 4, and like grapplers, Bowser's damage output is very high, being second only to Ganondorf in terms of overall kill potential. As for his cons, Bowser's aerials have some considerable lag on them. While they can be negated by not fast falling, faster characters can easily take advantage of the openings left by your aerials, a lot of which do not have a long lasting hitbox either, making Bowser have some questionable landing options. On top of that, Bowser is the largest character in terms of overall size, so he can easily be juggled around, and for much longer than other characters due to his immense weight. Also, with high power comes a high price, as characters with a counter force a Bowser player to play more defensive than normal, and if you're letting your opponent bully Bowser of all people, something's not right. Overall, Bowser is a solid powerhouse brute who's great at controlling space and making opponents fear his every move. He's fast enough to not be completely run over by characters like Sonic and Sheik, and whose grab game is very solid for a character of his stature. You may struggle a bit in the footsie game and get hit a bit more than you hit your opponent, but Bowser's amazing amount of bulk allows for him to stay in the fray longer than any other fighter. Bowser may have gotten a slight nerf as of the last patch, but he still got it. If you're looking for a character that can push others around, have a solid grab game, and an insane amount of survivability, then Bowser is definitely the character for you. Thank you for watching, and I must say, thank you for sticking with me in this unintended hiatus. A lot has been going on in my life as of the past 3.5 months, or at least that's what I wanted it to be, and I have never intended for this video to take this long. I've had portfolios to put together for some college applications, a lot of games came out, Overwatch had a beta going on, it's out now, things just didn't work out that well. However, I'm happy to report that I'm back to a monthly video schedule, and just to add some weight to that statement, here's a sneak peek at what the next guide will be on. And with that, Hammersmith Smash Bros. Guides is back on track. I'll be seeing you all next time for a video on the Wise Princess of Hyrule, Zelda. In the meantime, why not catch up on older episodes of the series? On the left you can watch the last guide made, featuring the tactician magician Robin. Also, if you're looking for something new, you can check out the latest video from my good friend Brian, or Bryhard as he's better known. And with that, I'll see you again for another video, another time. Bye.